For Outer Game this month, we're going to talk about something very advanced, okay? We're going to talk about something I call wrong forms of value. And let me backtrack just a step here, okay? So when we talk pickup, we talk about, certain models, right? You need value, you need comfort, right? And the reason we use models is to simplify the world. That's what a model does. The world is very complex. We use models to simplify it. But I want you to remember this always in pickup and always in life, okay? The map is not the territory. The menu is not the meal. The meal is richer than the menu. The territory is richer than the map. And pickup is richer than the models you use for pickup. Okay, so when we talk about value and comfort, it's just a model. It doesn't encapsulate everything. And one big thing it doesn't encapsulate is that value is not the same thing to every girl, and it's definitely not the same thing in every context. So depending on the girl's upbringing, depending on the context in which you meet her, depending on her look, depending on her relative value, depending on your look, all these different things could play in to be what's valuable to one girl might be not valuable to another girl. So I'll give you a few examples. First one, certain very attractive girls, especially girls who make their living off their looks, actually do not like pretty boys. They actually do not like attractive guys. Now, obviously some do. You see a lot of attractive couples in the world. But there are some who overtly, they just believe, I'm bringing the attractiveness to the quality. I want my man to have another trait. I want him to be ambitious or successful or rich, or they want him to be able to beat the shit out of somebody, or they want a guy who's like really nice and loyal and popular within their group of friends and just well loved and liked. They want some other form of value, not the pretty boy value, and they actually disdain it. Like they actually will reject a guy because he's too good looking. Now, obviously that's not every girl, but it is some, and that's ironic and weird. You wouldn't think that would ever happen, right? Because being good looking is always better than being bad looking. Well, not always, okay? Not always. Here's another one. American girls and European girls. American girls oftentimes respond very strongly to cocky, brash, arrogant type of guys, right? That's because we have a cocky, brash, arrogant culture. It's built on, go west young man, the rugged capitalist. We have a culture where there's a lot of celebrity and fame, especially big cities, New York, LA, Miami, Vegas. There are genuine celebrities there, right? And so a hot girl has access to those genuine celebrities, and if you show the signs of being one, she might believe you are, and she might react very strongly to it. In a lot of European countries where there's a lot more like of a middle class and there's a lot less of that rugged individualist, there's maybe more of a either financially or intellectually socialist sort of a vibe. These girls may have been taught from a very young age, fit in, be friendly, be nice, and they may treat that as more of a value. And in fact, if you're cocky and arrogant, they may treat that as disingenuous and think you're a liar or think that you're faking or think that you have too much to prove, right? So the very same behavior that might work very well in the United States might work very poorly in those other countries. Then there's the obvious examples, like say on the open, right? Say there's a girl that's very into like rocker guys and has maybe a hipster rocker look, and you walk up dressed extremely preppy. Does that mean you can't pick her up? Absolutely not. You totally and absolutely can. Does it mean it will be harder than if you were dressed more in line with what she perceives her boyfriend might be? Yeah, it does, okay? And so there are all these things that will make things more difficult. And the funny thing is, for some girls, like being nice is a sign of value because it shows you have the abundance to be nice. So some girls, being nice is a sign of weakness because it means, oh, you had to be nice in your life to get by. And that depends on their upbringing. It depends on the type of guys they've met and how they've interacted with those guys, okay? So having the ideas and having the model, value, comfort does matter. And it's a very good start, but it's not the whole deal, all right? What you need to be thinking when you're talking to the girl, almost from the very first moment, is what is value to this girl? Who is this particular girl? Because there is the generic biological evolutionary girl that responds to things like status, social proof, things like being good at escalation. Those kind of things are virtually universal. Not even entirely those, but they're very, very close to universal. But even those things will mean different things. For example, for some girls, like say college girls, for example, college girls a lot of times, they will prefer the social proof of you're in the right fraternity to the social proof of you've succeeded in life and are like fucking rich and fucking have like even famous friends, right? Because they're in this context where their world centers around that scene and the fraternity is the value in that scene. So certain girls, even though like clearly being in a fraternity in college is way less value than being successful and having cool friends in life outside of college. It's not even a comparison. But college girls who are very like caught up in that frame, in that social circle, and they're building their life around building popularity in that frame, in that social circle, may actually act as though that's the higher value option, okay? So understand that every single girl has a context through which she's viewing value and a context through which she's viewing comfort as well, to be fair, okay? But you need to be adjusting to the girl and understand that what your goal actually is to bring the right type of value for that girl. So start out, well, if you're starting out, start out bringing generic value and adjust to the girl. As you get more advanced, don't even start out bringing generic value. What I want you to do is I want you to be a little biased. This is politically incorrect as hell. I want you to judge the girl. I want you to decide things about the girl based on her appearance. Sorry. If she's black, you should approach her differently than if she's white. Because culturally in this country, she will have been treated differently. Not because she's fundamentally different or was different at birth or something, but she's had a different life history. If she looks rich, you should treat her differently than if she looks poor. You should, because it's effective. I know that's politically incorrect, but it is reasonable because it's not because she's fundamentally better or worse because of one of these things. It's because she fundamentally has had a different life experience. All right? It's because of the social pressure she's had throughout her life. You can make an educated guess. And if you have the opportunity to make an educated guess and you refuse to, then you're being naive and stupid. Okay? So at an advanced level, I want you to prejudge a little bit. Now, your prejudgments may be wrong, and if that's the case, back off and just, start adjusting from there. And whatever decision you make or whatever you think the likely scenario for how she's going to view value is, obviously it's open to interpretation as more information comes your way. But the point is, any information you have and don't use, you're stupid for not using.